But I wanted to talk about what cluster sets are and the difference between cluster sets and rest pause sets. Because I
Okay.
remember when I first started, I didn't understand the difference because I would see
Yeah.
them programmed and I would be like, isn't that the same thing? Because they're very
Yeah.
similar in the
They're
way that
very
they're
similar.
structured, but different intent and slightly different structure.
Yeah.
So rest pause sets, I feel like are more common. People probably have done them before if they've done either of our programming, because I think we both use rest pause sets. And with a rest pause set, the goal is more hypertrophy. With a cluster set, the goal is more strength. So because it's hypertrophy, you're going to be going close to failure with all of your sets or to failure, because that is one of the biggest drivers of hypertrophy, right? So with a rest pause set, you might, on your first set, you might go all the way to failure or very close to it. Then you're going to take like a 15 to 20-minute break. And then you're going to use that same weight again. And you're going to try to do as many reps as possible, which should be a lot less, right? And then you're going to take another 15 to 20-second break. And then you're going to do that again and so on. And you maybe do that for like 3 or 4 times, right? That's a rest pause set. And your reps should go down. And it's very taxing. So I wouldn't recommend doing that on every exercise. Like if I program that, it's going to be maybe one exercise per workout, but it can be helpful in like a fast way to like, it makes things faster, right? Getting all that work in that short amount of time. But like I said, it's very taxing and I wouldn't use that for like a deadlift or a squat or something that like you probably want to use it for an accessory exercise. And it could be like a compound exercise, like a dumbbell row or something, but not something like a deadlift or squat. Because you imagine like doing a deadlift to failure and then taking a short break and then going to failure again and then taking a
Yeah.
short
No,
break.
thank you.
No, that's probably not the smart idea. A squat either. I can't even imagine. So no. So use it for like more accessory exercises. Now a cluster set is a similar structure because you're going to be taking those short mini like intraset breaks. So you're going to do a couple reps and then take a break. Maybe slightly longer break. It'd probably be like 20 to 30 seconds compared to like 15 to 20 seconds. But you can still take a short break. Depends on how it's, programmed. But what you're going to do with that is it's going to be selected, like pre-programmed how many reps you're going to be doing per set. And you're not going to be going to failure because for strength, the biggest driver for strength is not getting close to failure. It's lifting heavy weights, right? So lifting something that is 80% of your max or more is going to be a big driver of strength because it forces you to recruit more motor units and all of that stuff and works on neuromuscular efficiency, all of that stuff when you lift heavy, right? And the other driver of strength is bar speed. And that, because the same thing, if you lift things quickly, same thing makes you recruit more motor units. So those are two things that you want to focus on when you're thinking of strength. You don't necessarily need to be getting close to failure. So the cluster set, what you're going to do is, and there's so many ways to set this up. You don't have to do it this exact way, but this is just an example. So maybe you pick a weight that is your 6 rep max and you're going to break that 6 rep. You're going to do 6 reps, but you're going to break it up into 3 sets of 2. So you're going to do 2 sets, rest 20 to 30 seconds, do 2 sets, rest 20 to 30 seconds, do 2 sets, rest. Then you rest for 2 minutes before you do that again. And what that does is now you're able to lift your 6 rep max, right? You're going to be able to do that and do like 6 reps with this. So you're still getting all that volume in there, but those little mini breaks are going to allow you to be able to lift that weight faster than if you didn't take that break, right? So you're still lifting the heavy weight. You're still able to lift it fast. And there are some times where you could maybe squeeze in more volume. So you might do something where it's like your 3 rep max, but maybe you break it up into sets of 1 and you do 5 reps, right? So you can even do stuff like that. So it's a strategic way to be able to get stronger. Same thing, not something I would use all of the time, but something that could be used intermittently.
Yeah. I like you were saying about rest pause. Rest pause works well if you're going to take like one way I like to use it is 3 sets of a bicep curl. If you've got 3 sets of bicep curls, instead of doing 3 sets of bicep curls with a rest in between, you literally just smash all of those reps together into one big set and just rest pause until you finish them. So if you were supposed to do 3 sets of 10, just smash them together, make it 30. And now you're just going to pick a weight that's relatively challenging for those 10 reps, but you're just going to keep going and you're going to rest as often as needed until you finish that 30. And those rests, usually I do like 15 to 20 second pauses.